Hi, Helen.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going.
It is going. Excellent.
Alex was actually on the call yesterday, which was awesome.
Um, what call?
The DidCom marketing call.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't make that.
No, you're no worries.
I had canceled it, but I guess I didn't. I apologize.
No, we had a brief conversation and then we're done. So you're good.
Okay.
Speak of the devil.
Okay. I set up the page. I will also put it in the chat. Anybody would like to edit, add, modify, etc. We'll give Alex a couple of minutes. I guess we'll start off as all Hyperledger meetings do with a reminder of the antitrust policy notice and the Hyperledger Code of Conduct. That's, I think, pretty standard for the folks that are on this call and anybody who might be watching later from home. So I wanted to start out with just some updates on some of the items that we've been working on over the last couple of months. So looking through reviewing the testimonials, talking a bit about the interop event, and then talking through possible blogs that we'll have. We sort of established a goal of having one blog out a quarter and submit that to the Hyperledger .org website for publication, with the idea that there would be sort of higher level descriptions, updates, etc., of relevant items that people would be interested in. And then for discussion, I put in, further kind of talk about the goals that we had previously set. I'd like to talk about some of the new projects that are coming out in the Hyperledger community and how Aries can reach out to them potentially, because it seems to be there's some overlap with some of the new projects. And then there's under future topics, there's sort of the long-term projects of animated video, longer form white paper, kind of a use case library, things that we'll be continuing to work on throughout the year, I'm sure. And then hopefully we can kind of further talk about the interopathon and the testimonial question, further circulate the testimonial questionnaire. But that's what I had. Sam, did you have anything further that you wanted to talk about or mention or anything that I should add to this rundown?
No, not really. Just a sense that and this is I know this is like preaching to choir here, but the more we can do to convey the existing production deployments
Mm-hmm.
of Aries code bases, the better. And
Yeah.
I know this is like choir preaching here, um, but it's just become really obvious that this is the largest deployment, particularly of open source software, facilitating identity needs than anything else. So just which is the kind of like the whole thing we're doing here. I think I just sort of saw it afresh this week, and so it's kind of fresh on my mind is all.
Okay. Yeah, we'll add use cases to discussion and see what we can do to further that effort in the near term. So Alex, I was wondering if I think you see the testimonials
Yep.
um, submissions. I think last I'd heard there was a couple from NDCO, a couple from BC Gov, and not many others. Is that accurate?
Not quite. There were three from Indicio for a while, and then suddenly, well, not suddenly, since I last checked, there's been two more. Not Indicio, not in BC Gov. BC Gov, people have been snowed, so they haven't come to it yet, but that's going to free up now. We've also got one from, I don't know these people, sandbags.com and
Hmm.
entidads.io.
Was that Entidad was the last one?
Yeah.
Nice, that's Jorge. They have a farm workers use case, which is pretty awesome.
And
Oh,
the first one was Eco Labs at Sandbags.
Ecolabs.
Yes.
That sounds familiar, but I'm a little bit less familiar with them.
okay. So the next question would be where we should post these, where they should live. I'll just pull up the wiki page quickly. We can look.
So I realized I hadn't submitted one yet, but given that we have 3 from Indicio, is that like too much, or should I just submit one anyway? And
Just
then
a
we can
moment
decide later.
anyways. It's good to
Okay.
have. Like we could, if we end up like peppering them other places or whatever. So the options, and we could do all, none, I mean, let me know, but adding them to the wiki, I think would be like somewhere on the front page would be great. The other place would be on the Aries page itself. As we know, this page pops up first when you do a search for Aries. So I'm wondering if, kind of down maybe below this section, or I don't know, wherever we want to tell Ben to put it, or ask Ben to put it, put in like a slider or something that would highlight those cases. I mean, Alex, we'd also probably want to give them a quick edit, make sure that, we reach out and to the individuals to make sure that we're representing them right. If we have to do any kind of smoothing of language or whatever. But maybe, I don't know, should we ask for approval from them, or should we kind of take them as they are and keep moving? What are your
I'll
thoughts?
check the individual ones. I think it's okay. I think we are specifically, these are testimonials to you. So I think we're good to go. But I'll just check on the wording of what we asked and look at the specific responses. The chart doesn't line up exactly saying who's willing to have their name and organization used with their testimonial. So I need to get the raw data out of the responses. But the short answer is I think we're good.
Okay. Would you like to take it on as an action item to add them to the wiki and talk to Ben about putting a slider in on the Hyperledger?
Yeah. Let me make a note of that rather than just say yes. So 1 second.
I will tag you. How about that? I think it bugs
Oh,
you.
here we go.
I think
Yeah.
it bugs you, Alex, Metcalf, right?
Yep.
There we go. Update wiki and speak with Ben regarding it to add the testimonials to the website. Okay. Excellent. Progress. That's awesome.
Wonderful.
I don't even know if we've posted that link in Discord, have we?
I haven't.
Okay,
It's
maybe we
me.
should also post
Yes, you
in.
need to put at the working group.
Okay, I'll just add that as well. Post testimonial
Yeah,
form
that's a good one.
in Discord. Okay. In your Discord channel. Be specific. Okay, cool. So we'll keep moving on with that, but it'll be great to have that update and see those items on the Aries website,
Great.
Aries wiki and stuff. Cool. And it should honestly put us in the right direction for starting to like accumulate use cases. So this might be kind of a good lead in to talk about use cases now, because we could go back to these 2, 3, 4 organizations. I think we had talked about them doing demos on working group calls occasionally, or I don't know, something so that we could have a recording of the demo, and then B, have, kind of an understanding of the work that these different organizations are doing. Sam, how do you, I don't know, see, and how do you picture in your mind's eye use cases as they relate to kind of garnering use cases from the community?
For an interop event?
No, sorry,
Sorry, I'm confused.
I'm skipping to this discussion
Okay.
of use cases because I think it's a great segue in what we're talking about right now with the testimonials,
Right.
because now we
Okay.
have
Yeah.
two organizations that we didn't know were working in it. So maybe we could go back to them and say, hey, thank you for your testimonial. Would you be interested in doing a demo, writing up a use case, like something that would keep them on the hook to keep giving us information about what they're doing?
Yeah, I think generic use cases are good because they're easy to describe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard Entidad several times, for example, and it's good, and it's a really compelling use case.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think things like that are good. The problem we have to guide people for use cases because a lot of people are like, oh well, we use verifiable credentials. I'm like, well, yeah, but for what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that kind of working with them to sort of craft the use case and make it still ideally generic enough that people understand what's going on, but specific enough that they understand like the value actually added there. And so like Entidad, for example, it's not just we use VCs, but like, we are seeking to improve the lives and privacy and, accessibility to help for farm workers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was awesome. Like, and so right there, you're like, okay, this is being used in agriculture, right? This is great.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of those use cases. I know BC Gov, has several, for example, where they're, managing access to court records for like, I don't know what the word is, but accredited or licensed lawyers. I don't know what the term is, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
that's a great one, right? And and they have several others, but just that one alone is, I think, really powerful. And so being able to talk about stuff like that and that's specific enough that it's different than just we use VCs, but it's generic enough that people are like, oh, that like makes sense, and I see how that might apply to me, even though my use cases, even though I'm not in the legal industry, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Just on that one point of the lawyers, we've got, I think we'll have some information going to be available on the webpage soon about that. That could be referenced. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I'm hearing that we'd want to have a kind of words on paper type of use case, like library, so people can find them. And I mean, I don't know if it should live in GitHub or if it should live on the wiki or a link to I don't know, wherever we put it, but provide enough information so that a layman could somebody totally new to Aries could roll up and read it and understand and get excited about Aries, and excited about the work that people are doing. Would we also want to do like a video recording of the demo? Would we want to add a 30 minutes on one working group a month for a demo if people want to join, for somebody to do a demo? I don't know. I'm just thinking of like how to maximize the benefit and the people's time who, are going to, who are going to put effort into creating a use case, because use cases take time to understand and write and properly edit and, put out. So I don't know. I want to make sure that we give them their due.
I think we just ask them, how can we help you?
Yeah.
Can we advertise your use case? Can we can we highlight your, your company, like as a user of the project? Like what would be helpful to you as part of this process
Okay.
is going to be the best thing to do, because some people may not, they're happy to contribute, but they may not want, right,
Mm-hmm.
for it to be widely known for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Okay. So maybe, Alex, since you have that list, can you like do an experiment and email or, respond to the two organizations that submitted testimonials and just ask them like, hey, would it be, do you have a public facing use case? Do you have a link somewhere that we could learn more about what you're doing? We'd love to kind of, I don't know, approach them and see what they have.
yeah. So like basically a linkable use case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like to something like content, a GitHub, a
Or a
blog,
link or a LinkedIn post or anything, right? It could be anything.
anything, a LinkedIn post, yeah, whatever they have that they're like, oh yeah, like check out this thing. I have a recording on YouTube, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
And then what we can do is create that, create a section that's, use case. I mean, maybe under learning resources, we could add a third bullet that's, for use case, for a use case library or something, we could go there and then have like a table, or I don't know, we could, depending on what we get, we could put some information there under learning resources, I think. Would that be a good place for it to live?
I think so. My first instinct was it could be even more prominent because like how
Mhm.
it's really cool. If you get like even 2 or 3 examples again, you've also got the foundation of a blog post, which has more reach impact as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
the latest examples of Aries in action or whatever the hell it would be called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that as well.
And Sam's got lots and lots of times he could probably just write the whole thing himself.
Oh my gosh, for sure. No, I'd be
Indeed. I
happy
just
to.
sitting around with nothing to do.
Yes, put your feet up on Netflix.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I'd be happy to write that blog if you want to just make intros for those testimonial
Well,
folks to me. And
first, let's gather the materials and see if we've got enough material to make it worthwhile.
yeah.
Kind of like a smorgasbord of, hey, this, and this is kind of a good thing,
Oh,
rather than
for
just
what it's
rehashing a one that's out there.
Hmm.
what it's worth, I love Aries in action.
There you go. Nice bit of alliteration as well. Sorry, assonance if it's a vowel.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have our I'll have Sammy like make a little logo for it. It's kind of like I don't know. Yes. I could see like making that into a campaign that we, push forward throughout the year.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll definitely move forward on that. I just remembered like 10 minutes ago that I was supposed to post in Discord in the Aries channel for people to give us their thoughts on an interop event, what they would want to test, what kind of things they would want to bring to test. And so I tagged you and you tagged Sam and Steven to see if you guys could like kind of get the ball rolling in terms of the thread, like, oh, there's lots of cool stuff happening. Like people could do this or people could do that, and then see if other folks chime in.
So we're about the right distance away from IW. The stuff either needs to be lined up with IW or after IW.
Yeah, IAW is in April. So yeah, I mean it's March basically. So it would probably be after IAW.
Right. And so we want to be clear when we message that, like, hey, we're planning for stuff after IW. Like, that's the target. What are we thinking about? That way people understand kind of where it slots in.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to pop your thoughts in there, that would be helpful in that Discord.
Cool.
And then blogs. So the one that we had talked about previously was the What's New with Aries blog, and then use the report that Stephen is putting together from last year. Did he already submit that to the talk? Was that already due?
Which one?
The like whatever the 2023 report or
Yes,
something?
that's been done now.
Okay, cool. So what we need to do is grab that and then write the blog from it. I'm happy to get that going if Alex, you and I mean, we could, tag on that and see if we can get a blog, a synopsis of the report to Hyperledger for a quick before it's too late, before while we're still in Q1.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be a lot closer to the material than me, but I'm really happy to be part of like a pass through on that. So whatever's required, sharpen up, whatever we want.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll start kind of see. I haven't read the report yet, to be quite honest. So have you, Alex? Were you part of the writing process of that?
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, so
Here's the
I'll,
link.
oh, cool.
It's still in a PR form. Like it ought to be merged soonish, but like that's the PR form. If you hit files changed on the right, and then click the little page icon, your life will get better. Nope, further to the right. There you go.
Display the rich diff.
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay. Oh, GitHub, you
Yeah,
are.
we're technical people making non-technical people use it.
Display the rich diff. Happy to.
Well, the problem is that normal people don't go look at contents of PRs in flight. They'll just go look at the actual document once it's been merged. But
Yeah. Cool.
so there's that.
Yeah, but like even just scrolling through this now, like, yeah, talking about the community, talking about adoption, goals for the next year, it looks like are in here.
So
Next
one
year's
of the
goals.
things to talk about, for example, is maintainer diversity.
Yeah.
Aries is one like excels at maintainer diversity. Most
Hmm.
most open source projects turn out to be like one company, one organization that is primarily supporting it. It's open source, and then other people will contribute kind of little things here and there. The fact that we have 19 organizations um, is awesome.
Hmm. What is this maintainers file? Does this show the 19 organizations?
Um, no, the maintainers file itself is the people who have special merge rights within the
Oh, okay.
repository itself.
Never
You can get
mind.
all
So,
the different orgs from the stats as well. I forget the link for it.
Oh, that LFX platform thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
has
yeah.
it.
yeah. That's where these stats come from.
Okay.
So
Cool. Yeah, I think there's a nice, like we could get 800 words pretty easily to hit the kind of highlights of this and get people interested in that Aries is rocking and rolling.
yep, totally.
Cool. And then the idea is I put Q2, but obviously moving target. Promote DidCom V2 when it comes, promote OpenID when it comes, and then we talked about, I think on our last call, some kind of blog that's like really targeting, like a high level blog targeting that enterprise buyer. Or developer even, there's a better, if you're looking at MFA, if you're looking at, how to stop emailing PDFs, if you want to, if Microsoft SharePoint is ruining your life, like how, if there's other ways to share data, it's Aries and how to, and kind of connect all the dots there. So that was another blog that I think would be interesting that would take a little bit more kind of thought. And then yeah, use cases, examples for sure. I'll be working on that one as well. So we might have 2 that comes out in Q1, which would be fine.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. And if anybody else has any other thoughts for other possible blogs, feel free to drop them in. So further discussion on the goals of the marketing committee. I kind of sussed these out from previous notes, but position Aries in the global kind of standards conversations. We talked about how to get Aries mentioned in like lobbying or, government settings, or how to have Aries, really swing its weight, so to speak, in the communities that would be most, benefited, that where Aries should be talked about. So I think that's still a worthy goal. I'm not sure how to, further create those inroads at the government level. I know, there's examples of what OpenID has been doing in Europe and things like that. But yeah, I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that one in terms of like the government role in Aries adoption. And then the next item for goals would be just more adoption and deployment. So I think we're working on that campaign for sure with the testimonials and with the use cases and the blogs and things like that. So I think that we're covering that pretty well. And then the other item was just creating more pages, talking points, referenceable documents to dispel, myths, general concerns, misconceptions, FAQs, stuff like that. So I think that's something that we could be working on, in the future as well, once we kind of get some of this stuff out the door. But yeah, I would love to have those sort of like go here to download, the latest kind of FAQs, or people could like add them, to have if developers come up with like, gosh, I really just want to make sure that people understand XYZ, like empower them to contribute to something like that as well. So, any other goals or, kind of items we should be thinking about for this group as the year goes on?
I'm thinking.
So it's sort of like lobbying, adoption, and content is kind of like the buckets there.
Right.
So we talked a little bit about use cases, which is great. So we're going to continue on that. I did want to bring up the item of new projects, and I called it naming of new projects, but I just wanted to raise it here to hear people's kind of thoughts on it. So Anon Creds is its own project. Sam, can you explain to me why Anon Creds is not part of Aries?
Technically speaking, it's why is AnonCreds not part of Indie?
Okay.
So AnonCreds, right, is the credential technology that allows for the largest set of privacy features yet for any credential technologies. It was AnonCreds as a name kind of happened like DIDCOM got a name, and the fact that it was developed and then we named it later. And so the purpose for having it be a separate project is that the efforts are underway to allow it to be used independently of Indie. Indie turns out to still be a great choice, but you don't have to use it with Indie. And because of that, doing it inside of Indie doesn't necessarily make sense.
Okay.
So AnonCreds is in the this is not quite proper, but is in the orbit of Indie the same way, or of Aries the same way that DIDCOM is, for example. Even though that's the work most recently there has happened at the diff. So it's like a technology that we care about, because of the implications, and the community that tends to care about Aries also tends to care about the privacy features offered by these other technologies, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. There is a new lab that is coming out, the Open Enterprise Agent Lab. They have some community-driven options for their naming, and I think I don't know if it's been settled, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of Identum potentially. As just marketing, I worry about naming of multiple projects that might confuse the market of like where to go for what. So AnonCreds, is that where credentials live? Should I do AnonCreds if I want to build credentials? If there's a project called Identum, is that where all the identity stuff is? So that's the one I should go to and I should use there. So I don't know if, there's further kind of bridges that could be made between the Open Enterprise Agent community and Aries, but it might behoove everyone if there were sort of stronger ties and more kind of communication between the two projects, is kind of my thinking.
There definitely could be. One of the things that has not been as high on my list as it needs to is just to reach out to the project runners and kind of figure out what their goals are and how they align and stuff, so that we can do just that. But I have not got that done. That's there's not a reason I haven't, besides time.
I'll put it on your list. I will tag you, and then Wiki Confluence will bother you about it.
Awesome. This is not the only project that could be part of Aries that isn't. The other one famously is Verimo.
Yeah.
And so, which is basically Aries agents, but for some reason they decided they didn't want to do it inside of Aries. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I just, if we don't, yeah, I'm just, from a marketing perspective.
What was the current name of that project?
I think, so Open Enterprise Agent is kind of where it started. They are looking for a project name, and it's somewhere in the realm of Identum. But I'm not sure if there's trademark issues. That hasn't been approved or anything like that. The community, I think they did just community input, and that's the one they came up with. But I think the staff is still trying to understand if there's any issues, just because it might have trademark issues. So I don't think it's been finalized by any means. But if this would, I think they're staying in labs for now. So if they would like to become a project sooner, or whatever, maybe there's a home at Aries, and that could help dispel some of the kind of market confusion.
It could be. They mention on the first line of the overview says the Enterprise Cloud Agent is a W3C/Aries standards-based cloud agent,
Right.
written in Scala.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will ask.
Cool. So again, down here I have just a list of kind of these long-term projects. I think when we have maybe more folks join this call and give more support, we could pursue the writing of a white paper or animated videos, and for like longer form use cases, etc. But for now, I think we have a great list of action items to get us going and to support the goals of this group, and to get some content out the door, which I like.
There's lots of low-hanging fruit here. There's lots of very simple things, even before the video and the white papers. We just
Yeah.
mentioning the testimonials and the use cases is we haven't got any, so the ending is going to be like fantastic. So I think good actions, and we now have 6 responses to the testimonial thing. A guy called Sam Curran from some company just submitted one during this meeting. So
Excellent.
Slacker finally got off of his duff.
Make sure you vet that one. Could be a bot. But yeah, that's great. So yeah, we'll just keep working on getting through this list of stuff. The next Aries working group calls tomorrow, so we could show up there and give updates on things, and let people know what's going on, and solicit participation in the marketing group by all who are there. I should have been there last week to like remind people that the meeting was this week, but whatever.
The way I'm seeing it, this is like because you got like quite a tech overlap. So people coming to the marketing meeting, they may not have the time or desire for that. But I like that. But if we can just incubate the ideas and package them in a way that appeals to the community to do really quick things, so like a 3-minute ask that they can fit in around, say, attending the working group, I think that's really smart on our part. And then we do like real simple writing tasks, like a simple blog item and a few testimonial quotes. So much impact without having to have people show up to the marketing stuff. So yes, by all means, still market that. But I think we've got a good pattern here of doing some approachable, simple things that people can actually want to do very simply, rather than becoming a capital T thing they have to attend.
Right. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, then we're in the right direction. I think, I mean, if nobody else has anything to talk about right now, we could let the call go and get a few minutes back.
Yeah, thanks for driving, Helen. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Thanks all for your input. I appreciate it.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.